We are back in the black hole of real estate, and I got a lot of messages about when is the right time to sell a property. This is your host, Ron Wysokarski, for the black hole of real estate, and today, what I want to talk about is when is the right time to sell your property, and what steps would you take to prepare for that, and what's different today than maybe even just 6 months ago. The first thing, that the honest answer I'm going to give you on when is the right time to sell your property is simply when you're ready. And if you are trying to time the market or do all these calculations or making the proverbial pros and cons list, and I don't know, maybe consulting your astrologer as well, I think you know when you're ready. That is when you can stop looking at all those other things I just mentioned. Say, I'm just ready. And I think at times in life, that gut feeling inside. It's like, we're just ready. It doesn't matter if we think interest rates will come down next month, or that there's something that's going to happen that will make prices go up a little bit more if we wait just 6 months or a year. And quite honestly, what we're finding is that the right time to sell a home is when you are emotionally and physically ready to move on from it. And no amount of timing things out or preparing yourself is going to change that. So that's a long-winded answer. It could be now, it could be later, and I can also say that it depends. Now, if you're not at the point where you know it's the right time, then I've got a couple thoughts for you. It's the end of the year. And what that means is there's probably less inventory today than there will be, let's say, January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, because there are a lot of people that are going to wait until after the first of the year, after the holidays, to put their home on the market. So if you choose to be on the market right now, what you might find is that you've got a little less or maybe even a lot less competition, and you're in a market where even if the amount of buyers is less than it might be in January or February, the ones that are looking over the holidays, well, they're super motivated. And that would suggest to me that if you're ready to go on the market before the end of the year, and you've got a very captive audience, an engaged audience among those that are out there looking, that might be a competitive advantage to you as the person selling from a position, I would call it strength. Less inventory, less opportunity, and someone that can buy today, that has to buy today. Not everybody is going to avoid the holidays. Home shopping is what I want to say. Some people need to be in by January 1st for their own reasons. So if you're waiting until after the 1st, what you might find is that some of the buyers that might have bought your home made a decision because yours was not ready for sale. So if you were on the fence about when's the right time and you're flexible and maybe open-minded, being on the market today or tomorrow might be the right decision for you. I'd also say that if you are going to decorate the house from top to bottom in Christmas and holiday things, that might be cheery for many. But if you're going on the market and that's what the photos look like, you probably want to retake those photos on January 1st, because the holiday decorations are going to make your home look perhaps stale in the market, even if it's only been on the market for, let's say, a week or two. Decorations and pictures after the 1st, let's just call that a no-no and not do that. So if you're on the market right now and you've got Christmas decorations going up or something like that, just think of the seasonality of that. It's a pretty good tell to the buyer that your home didn't sell in the initial part of the listing, which that could cost you some money at the closing table. Another reason for waiting is maybe it's inconvenient for you to show the property on short notice. Either due to work or holidays or family coming to town. Maybe not every room of your home is accessible because maybe you've got a room that's under lock and key with some decorations or presents or things like that. Interruptions are plentiful when you're attempting to sell a home, and quite honestly, the showings always come when you're not expecting it. And while not everybody calls you at 8:15 wanting to see it in 5 minutes, if your home is not up front and ready 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, you may lose some opportunities with that. And I think that's with any home sale, whether it's end of the year, holiday season, what does your timing look like? You have to have availability, and the home has to look ready, especially in the first few weeks, when you likely see the most amount of people asking to see the home. we've told people that if you're not wanting to be inconvenienced, or let's say that you have pets, removing two dogs every time there's a showing all day long, that might be super inconvenient. I've actually had people where we've recommended, why don't you just go on vacation, or take a cruise, or just be away for a few days, and maybe when you get back, we'll have some offers for you to sign, and then you won't be inconvenienced. There is a lot to consider beyond the normal of timing. Like, well, geez, you could ask yourself these questions. Are the interest rates going to go lower? Would buyers have more purchasing power? Absolutely. That's a real thing. Could they go higher? Maybe. We've seen some inflection of interest rates going higher on mortgages when the Fed went lower, so maybe it's time for those to go down. But does anybody really know for sure? So interest rates could change things, availability and buyers wanting to be in the market, that those are going to ebb and flow. It's almost a guarantee that there's going to be more homes on the market after January 1st. If you're price positioned well and you got a great location and you've got marketing behind it and the condition is impeccable, then you'll stand out among all the available homes, whether there's a few or many available. But if you're compromised on one of those 3-4 things that really matter, and if you were waiting till after the first of the year, do you have a great location? What is the condition like of the property? Because that's in your control. It's your home. You have the opportunity to have a choice. Will it be well conditioned or need some work? Are you choosing the right agent? Or if you're doing it yourself, do you have the right marketing in place, the right photos, the right website, the right design? That's the thing. Are you able to skillfully set up your showings either by yourself or with an agent to make it at a time where it's convenient to the buyers, not convenient to you? That's a really big thing. If you're going to stand on your soapbox and say, I can only show up between these times and that's it, not everybody can make it on your schedule. And again, it goes back to the convenience or inconvenience of selling a property. So if you've got a great location, and we've talked about condition, we've talked about marketing, the last thing is price. And if you're overly optimistic on price and pricing it high so you got room to negotiate, that's old school. That still works. It usually takes a little longer. But if you're priced right and the condition and marketing and the location are good, you're probably teeing it up for a really good sale. Getting most or all of your asking price, and you might be able to dictate some terms based on that about when the closing date is, and maybe shortening up some inspection periods. And as a seller, these are things that you would likely want to have in your corner. I know if I was selling a property, or at least when I do, price absolutely is important, but the terms and conditions, closing date, shorter inspection periods, I tend to have my home pre-inspected and do all the repairs, and I'll show them the old report. Now, they can do their own, and I'm fine with that. But here's a recent report. Here's all the receipts of all the things that I fixed, which is everything on the list. But you're welcome to do your own. That can be an advantage for you as a seller. And timing that out could be super important to you. Now, I've given you a lot to think about, so let's break it down. You're thinking of selling. You're not sure when. Oh, and what's my home worth? How about that one? See, we kind of let that one slide by saying pricing it, appropriately and properly for the market. I would say that going to an online portal and all the names, and you can click on what's my home worth and get a lot of examples on the internet. Did you ever notice they're never the same? You see, because they're algorithms and they're programs that are just guessing what the value is. They've never been in. They can't, if you're the same square footage and design as a home next door, but that website is never going to know if you've renovated the property, if the one next door is moldy or got flooded as yours did. And those things are not going to be readily apparent to a computer program that's never been to the house. So there needs to be a little bit more thought or system or process in place to price the home appropriately, to have a great listing price that attracts buyers and great photos to go behind it. But also, if you feel that you need room to negotiate, here's what I might tell you. If you priced a home and it was too low, even in a market such as this, I think that you'll get multiple offers that will go above the listing price. And I think there's a safety net within that. So if you are priced too low, if you're worried about that, you'll get full price, maybe above that. If you're priced too high, you might linger on the market, or buyers might say, it's okay, but it's overpriced. What's up with that? And when you eventually take a reduction on price 30, 60 days down the road, to say, well, it seems like it's in the ballpark on price, but it's been out there a long time. Must be something wrong with it. These are common things that buyers think about. And I think you as a consumer, when you're out there buying, after you sell your home, you're going to ask the same questions. It might just make sense to ask yourself an honest question. If I was a buyer, what would I think about the house? I think your friends and family are going to be nice and kind and tell you, no, it doesn't need a thing. It's hard to be honest, and that's where the professional comes in. So think these things through. When is the right time to sell? I'm going to go right back to what I said earlier. When you're physically ready, emotionally ready to sell the home and you know that there's no going back, that's the best time to do it. And it doesn't matter if it's today, a month from now, or 6 months from now. Intuitively, you're going to know that. If that's all equal, then I would look at market conditions. If you think interest rates are trending in a downward place, and you think you can get a little more money next month, then wait. If you're not fearful of competition, wait till after the first of the year. If you're concerned of going on the market when rates are dropping and there's a lot more properties on the market, if you're concerned that you are going to be left behind and not chosen to linger on the market, I'd really think long and hard about what I can control in this piece, whether it's the timing of going on sooner before the competition comes in, if I spend a little bit more time and money on the condition of the property, and then selecting the right agent to market it if you're choosing an agent. If you're going your own route, then I would have expert tools, expert pricing, and great photography and video to go along with it, and then spend a lot of money blasting it out. That way you get the word out to everybody. I hope this helps you on when it's the right time to sell and some of the reasons to help you make that decision. This is Ron Wojciechowski for the Black Hole of Real Estate.